Hey motorcycle people, it's Tony back in the garage today for another Avoid Highways video. Today I want to talk about the top 5 reasons that I chose the 2024 CSC SG250 to be my next motorcycle. Honestly, it was hard to narrow it down to just 5, but I think these are the points that really sold me on the bike, and maybe they'll help you make a decision too. So my number 1 reason for choosing the SG250 was its looks. I just think it's a really cool looking bike. I'm very attracted to the 1970s style UJMs, the Universal Japanese motorcycles. So your 1970 Hondas, your Kawasaki's, your Suzuki's. I love just the simplicity of the bike. I love the kind of classic, clean styling of it. It's got spoked wheels, which are a really nice feature. And it's just a cool, simple motorcycle. It looks like what you would see in the dictionary definition if you put a picture next to the definition of motorcycle. I totally dig the front mud guards. I know they're very sort of mechanical looking with the big support struts, but I actually really like that. I think it's a cool look. And yeah, overall, it's just such a good looking bike. That was the thing that drew me to it first. I was really in the market for something that harkened back to that classic sort of simple 70s style, and this totally has it. Another big consideration for me was I really wanted a lightweight bike this time around. I have a Tiger 990 that weighs in a little over 450, maybe 460 pounds, and it's not so easy to move around the garage. I'll show you that in just a second. But this bike is 273 pounds, that's per the CSC website, and I can just show you real quick how easy that is to move around in the garage. It's absolutely nothing to just move around. You know, I could lean it way over, no problem picking it up. Now, granted, I am almost 200 pounds. I'm a decently big guy, but I don't think anybody would really have a trouble moving this bike around in the garage and handling the weight of it. It carries the weight down really low. I mean, the bike itself is really low. So, you know, from that standpoint, it really ticked the box for me. I like lightweight bikes. I like something that's just easy to handle when I'm moving it around in the garage, when I'm trying to do maintenance. I mean, I can pick the tail end of this up and scoot it around if I need to. So that was a huge consideration for me. And I'll give you now the comparison. I'll try not to overact of what it looks like when I'm trying to move the Triumph around. It is a significantly bigger effort to get this guy moving. And I wouldn't begin to try the tipping test that I showed you with the SG250. You know, the effort you're hearing in my voice is real, this thing. And it also carries its weight kind of high, so that doesn't help. You know, why is the weight of your bike important? Well, it's, like I said, moving it around the garage is simple. I think the weight of a bike makes a significant impact on the experience of owning that bike. If you've got something that's heavy, that's hard to move around, I'm out of breath right now from doing this, and that's part of why I was looking for something smaller than this, is just getting it in and out of the garage. It's not impossible, it's not, you know, a 600-pound, you know, cruiser, but it really does make the experience of owning the bike different to have something that's lightweight and easy to handle versus something heavier like this. One final point on weight is that I was cross-shopping this bike with several low displacement bikes, and one that caught my attention very quickly was the Hunter 350 from Royal Enfield. Again, looks were a big factor there. I think it's a very, very cool looking bike, but the Hunter weighs almost 400 pounds with a 350 engine. Now this is only 229 stock, but you know, it's 125-ish pounds lighter. So that was a huge difference to me, and really one of the definitive factors for why I didn't end up going with the Royal Enfield. The third reason I chose the SG250 was simplicity of maintenance and upgrading, and being able to do both of those things myself. Mechanically, this bike is dead simple. It really doesn't get much simpler for a roadworthy motorcycle. You know, it's carbureted, which is pretty simple to deal with. Single cylinder, everything is just really easy, mostly very accessible. You know, I'm not taking a bunch of plastic off like a lot of bikes. So that was a big deal to me. I want to be able to do my own oil changes. I want to be able to do my own regular maintenance. I want to be able to do modifications myself without having to have a garage full of specialized tools. And if you have watched my past videos on, or the past video on doing the 16-tooth sprocket upgrade, it's a handful of hand tools. Same with any of the maintenance that you need to do on this. You can do it with just a handful of hand tools. So I really value that. And I will contrast that with my Tiger, which has a very special feature that I really don't like. And that special feature is this little wrench icon here in the bottom left of my display. That comes on every year when you need annual maintenance. It comes on when you need an oil change. It does not indicate that there's anything wrong with the bike. It is simply a maintenance reminder. And the huge problem with that is if you want to do your own maintenance, you can't turn that little symbol off by yourself. You actually have to take it into a dealership to get that reset. Alternatively, you can buy a code reader and supposedly do it yourself, but I mean, that's a couple $100 at least for a tool just to get rid of that. And that is a huge pain to me. I don't want to have to go into the dealership when I could be doing maintenance myself. You know, as part of this maintenance and upgrade point, one of the big factors for me as well was the availability of the Motocult Stage 4 kit to do a huge amount of upgrade to this bike with an off-the-shelf kit rather than piecing it together, hoping that it was reliable, hoping that it, you know, was from a source that actually knew what they were doing. You know, the Motocult kit claims on its website to essentially double the horsepower of this engine. If that really is true, or if it's even remotely close to that, the power to weight ratio on this bike suddenly gets really, really good. You know, you'd be talking in excess of 20 horsepower on a 273 pound bike, compared again to that Hunter 350, which is almost 400 pounds with 20 horsepower. This becomes a real ripping around machine, and I'm so excited to get that installed. I've just got to find time to spend here in the garage doing the wrenching. I wanted to do some things first, like the sprocket change, and you know, try it out some in its stock form. But I cannot wait, hopefully over the holidays, to put some time aside to spend a couple of days installing that kit. The fourth reason I chose the SG250 is because there's actual dealer support for the bike. If you've been shopping this bike, you've probably also seen a lot of other Chinese-made bikes, bike in a box, they call them often, available through Amazon or other sources. The huge difference between those bikes and this one is there's a physical dealership in the United States here to support you with this bike. And I have to just shout out the CSC crew, because they're so responsive when you have questions about these bikes. You can reach them by telephone. You can reach them, they've got a chat feature, a little chat box on their website, and they'll take your question and then respond to you usually by text message. If it's during working hours, I can't think of a time that I haven't gotten a response from them the same day. It's just super support. I've got, you know, when I first got the bike, I had some issues with the fueling. I got on the phone with their service manager. Like, they are so responsive and so ready to help people who have these bikes. And if you didn't have that kind of support, Imagine trying to get something dealt with a bike in the box where there's no stateside support. That sounds like a nightmare to me. So they're the real deal. And the other thing is, they're also just nice people. Like, they enjoy motorcycles. They do this because they enjoy motorcycles. They like working with motorcyclists. They like working with new motorcyclists. And so, I've never had an issue getting a question answered. They're always super willing to help. And the last time I messaged with them, they even, said, "Hey man, we really like your videos." That's just cool. You can have a relationship with the dealership if you, work with them over time. This is my second bike. I've also got a TT250 Enduro bike. And so it's just kind of cool getting to know them a little bit. But it's so, to me, critical to have that support, that if anything goes wrong, I've got, or if I just have questions that I don't know the answer to, or how to get started with, there's somebody here that I can call and is going to respond to me. Can't say enough nice things about them in that regard.
And the fifth reason that I chose the CSC SG250 is it's just a ton of fun to ride. Of course, I couldn't have known that before I bought it, but I had a sneaking suspicion, and turns out I was right. It is just a ton of fun, especially on little back roads like this. Turns in, zippy little ride. You're really engaged in the act of riding the motorcycle. It's like motorcycling stripped down to its bare essence. You got no ride modes, you got no electronics, you got no excessive stuff to look at on your dash. It's just you, your bike, clutch, throttle, and brakes. It's very engaging. You feel like you're really riding the bike. It's not just one of the super modern bikes. I've talked before about my Triumph 900, is that it's so good it's almost too good. You don't feel quite as involved in the act of riding it. It's doing a lot of the work for you, it seems. And that's what I really enjoy about the SG250, is I am 100% engaged in riding this motorcycle. It does the things that little bikes let you do, whip it around, run over a stick that you should have missed. This is actually part of my commute into my office. Not a bad way to get to work, eh? And there you have it, friends. My top 5 reasons that I chose the SG250. I could go on. The list could get longer. I love that it has a center stand for ease of maintenance. I'd wanted a center stand on a bike for a long time. I like that it has LED lighting all around. I mean, that's becoming standard, but it's still not all the way there. And I like that it's got it. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Any of these 5 reasons resonate with you? If you chose an SG250, what were the deciding factors for you? Always happy to hear other folks' thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you give me a thumbs up and hit that like button. And if you're having a good time as I am with the SG250 content, why don't you consider subscribing? Again, that button is right there in front of you. Thanks for hanging out in the garage and on the bike today. Got to mix it up a little bit. And stay tuned for the next Avoid Highways video coming soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe out there.